Cars these days are packed with cool features, but most of them quietly destroy reliability faster than you can say, check engine light. I went through over 300 service records, complaints, and mechanic notes to see which features are really costing you time and money. Feature number 20 is the engine start-stop system. On paper, it sounds smart. Save gas, reduce emissions, help the planet. Reality check. It punishes your car every single time it kicks in. Batteries drain faster, starters wear out, and oil pressure drops right when your engine needs it most, especially in traffic or cold weather. Some vehicles burn through batteries 40% faster, and now you're paying for fancy AGM or EFB batteries just to keep the car alive. Most people don't realize this wasn't made for their convenience. Automakers use start-stop systems to hit government emissions goals, not to save you money. That delay when the light turns green? That's your engine struggling to wake up. My advice, disable it if possible, or at least understand what you're dealing with before blindly trusting it. The car isn't being lazy, it's stressed. And trust me, every mechanic I've spoken to would rather have you turn it off yesterday. So, save your battery, your starter, and your sanity. Next up, feature number 19, haptic controls. Car companies love to show off touchscreens and fancy haptic panels like they're the second coming of driving innovation. Reality, they've replaced simple, reliable knobs with distractions that fail, freeze, or cost a fortune to repair. Remember when adjusting the volume was as simple as twisting a knob? Now you swipe, tap, and hope you don't accidentally turn on the AC instead of the map zoom. Virtual cockpits might look futuristic in commercials, but in real life, they lag, freeze, and crash, sometimes taking your speedometer, backup camera, and climate control with them. Repairs aren't cheap either. Once you're out of warranty, you're on your own. These panels don't last nearly as long as the buttons they replaced. And here's the kicker. The more complicated the interface, the more likely you'll hit the wrong function at the worst possible moment, at 80 monorationary on the freeway. Haptic controls aren't innovation. They're digital chaos disguised as convenience. So, if your car has one of these modern wonders, don't just curse your bad luck. Learn how it behaves and always have a plan in case it dies. Sometimes a sticker on the dashboard that says, "I survive with touchscreens," is worth more than the system itself. In the end, simplicity wins, reliability matters, and your sanity shouldn't be optional. Feature 18, Tire Mobility Kit. Feature number 18 is the Tire Mobility Kit. Back in the day, popping the trunk meant you had a full-size spare tire, ready for any situation. Now, most cars come with a tiny can of sealant and a mini air compressor. Automakers claim it saves weight and improves fuel economy, but let's be honest, it's mostly a cost-cutting move at your expense. When your tire blows on the highway, that kit won't help if the sidewall tears or the puncture is bigger than a nail. You're stuck waiting for roadside assistance while hoping the patch works. Worse, the sealant can ruin your tire pressure sensors, meaning not just a new tire, but also a new sensor, and possibly a tow bill. What used to take 5 minutes can now take 3 hours, draining your patience and your wallet. A full-size spare gave you security. This kit? It gives you false hope. Remember, convenience often comes at the price of reliability. Don't get fooled by a lightweight, eco-friendly label. What's green for the manufacturer can cost you in frustration and cash. Always know what you have in your trunk and never assume it'll actually save you when disaster strikes. Feature 17, Cramped Engine Bays. Feature number 17 is cramped engine bays. Modern engines aren't just tight, they're a nightmare to work on. Automakers squeeze every sensor, wire, belt, and pipe into tiny spaces to keep the car looking sleek. Need to replace a simple belt or headlight bulb? Some models require removing the engine cover or even the entire bumper. For mechanics, this means more labor hours and higher repair bills. A job that should take 30 minutes can stretch into hours. DIYers? Forget it. Even basic maintenance feels like performing surgery. All that tight packaging also traps heat, wearing out components faster and turning minor issues into expensive problems. Sleek designs might look great in commercials, but under the hood, it's chaos. Every repair becomes a test of patience, and every corner-cutting design choice increases the likelihood of future breakdowns. If you're shopping for a car, peek under the hood. If it looks like a spaghetti bowl, Be ready for the consequences. Feature 16, steering wheel controls. Feature number 16, steering wheel controls, were supposed to make driving easier, but somewhere along the way, they turned into a confusing mess. Now you've got toggles, scroll pads, and random buttons all crammed into a tiny space. Volume goes one way, track changes another, or maybe it's reversed depending on the car or software version. Some buttons sit right under your thumb, others force you to stretch like you're doing finger gymnastics just to skip a track. And if your eyes leave the road even briefly, that's a potential accident waiting to happen. Over time, these controls wear out. Sticky buttons, laggy inputs, or complete failure. What was meant to simplify your drive now adds stress and creates another repair headache. It's a reminder that car makers often overcomplicate things for a techie feel, while reliability suffers. The next feature, keyless entry, takes convenience to a whole new level of potential disaster. Feature 15, keyless entry. Feature number 15, keyless entry, sounds convenient. Walk up, press a button, start your car. Easy, right? But in reality, it introduces a host of problems. First, where do you keep the fob? It drifts around in your pocket or bag like a rogue gadget. Lose it, drop it, or damage it, and you're stuck with a $400 electronic key controlling your whole car. Then there's the theft risk. Relay attacks and key cloning are real, and push-to-start systems make your car a target for tech-savvy thieves. Meanwhile, old-fashioned keys still work perfectly. Simple, reliable, no hacking, no drama. So what seems like a modern convenience can cost you big and lost keys, theft risks, and frustration. Coming up next, button shift knobs that make driving feel like a puzzle instead of a simple task. Feature 14, button shift knobs. Feature number 14, button shift knobs, are supposed to modernize your driving, but they often do the opposite. Instead of instinctive gear changes, you're hunting for a button or dial, thinking more about shifting than actually driving. Miss it, and you could lurch into traffic or someone's bumper. Take Chevy's dial shifter as an example. Drivers complain about it constantly. It's not intuitive, not quick, and it adds stress when split-second decisions matter. Comfort suffers too. There's nothing to rest your hand on, no tactile feedback, and your muscle memory goes out the window. These systems rely heavily on electronics. A sensor fails or a circuit shorts, and you're stuck. Traditional shift knobs worked for decades with zero fuss. This change for change's sake design sacrifices reliability and simplicity. Next, we'll cover turbocharged engines, the power boost that often comes with hidden dangers. Feature 13, turbocharged engines. Feature number 13, turbocharged engines. Sound amazing on paper, more power, faster acceleration. But under the hood, they're stress factories. Extra boost pushes more pressure through gaskets, seals, pistons, and the cooling system. One weak link fails and suddenly your shiny turbo car turns into a costly repair nightmare. Some turbos last, like Toyota's 2.4L, Honda's K20C, Mazda's Skyactiv, and a few from Subaru, BMW, and Volkswagen. But those are exceptions. Most turbos wear faster, need more maintenance, and when they fail, it isn't quiet. Naturally aspirated engines might feel slower, but they're simpler, more reliable, and last longer. Turbo engines often trade durability for speed. You feel the thrill now, but pay the repair bill later. And if you think it stops there, think again. Up next is a feature that literally shuts off part of your engine while driving. Cylinder deactivation. Feature 12, cylinder deactivation. Feature number 12, cylinder deactivation, promises fuel savings by shutting down some cylinders while cruising. Sounds smart, right? But in reality, it can cause misfires, oil burning, and lifter wear. For example, Ram's 5.7L Hemi has lifter issues directly linked to this system, and GM's 5.3L and 6.2L V8 AFM setups are infamous for complete lifter failure, sometimes before 50,000 miles. When this happens, it's not just swapping parts. You might be facing a full engine replacement, easily $3,500 or more. Honda's VCM and Mazda's Skyactiv are gentler, but even they carry risk. The fuel savings aren't worth it if they lead to major engine headaches. A reliable engine should run smoothly, not confuse itself by turning cylinders on and off mid-drive. Cylinder deactivation may sound high-tech, but it often costs more in repairs than it saves at the pump. Now brace yourself for the next one. A system that sounds efficient but ends up gumming up your engine. Direct injection. Feature 11, direct injection. Feature number 11, direct injection, sprays fuel directly into the cylinder instead of the intake valves. On paper, it's efficient, but here's the kicker. It bypasses the natural cleaning action that port injection provides. Over time, thick carbon builds up on the valves, restricting airflow, causing rough idling, misfires, and reducing engine performance. Fuel system cleaners won't touch it. The gunk is baked right onto the valves. Fixing it requires walnut blasting, a costly process that literally shoots crushed walnut shells to scrape away carbon. Some manufacturers mix port and direct injection to avoid this, but many don't. So while direct injection may sound high-tech and fuel-saving, it quietly destroys reliability. The few dollars you save on gas won't matter when you're dropping thousands to clean your engine. Efficiency turned enemy. Your engine suffers for a feature that promises savings but delivers stress. Feature 10, electronic parking brakes. Feature number 10, electronic parking brakes, replaces the classic handbrake with a button. Sounds modern, right? But the reality is far from convenient. These brakes rely on motors and sensors, and if one fails, you could be stuck. Literally. The brake can lock up, leaving your car immobile, or worse, it might not hold on a hill. Cold weather, dead batteries, or faulty modules can leave you stranded, and repairs aren't cheap. Hundreds of dollars can disappear just to replace a motor or reset the system. Traditional handbrakes gave you direct control. You felt the engagement, knew it worked. This digital replacement hides problems until it's too late. Sure, it looks sleek, but reliability? Forget it. Modern convenience has replaced a simple, dependable tool with a potential nightmare. Feature 9, dual clutch transmissions, DCTs. Feature number 9, dual clutch transmissions, promises fast shifts, better fuel economy, and no clutch pedal. Sounds perfect for performance fans, right? But in daily driving, they can be jerky, clunky, and frustrating, especially in stop-and-go traffic. Some systems, like Ford's PowerShift or Hyundai Kia DCTs, are notorious for failures. When these transmissions fail, repairs are costly, anywhere from $1,500 to $3,500 for a replacement. They require specialized knowledge, and DIY is out of the question. Performance enthusiasts might tolerate the quirks, but for regular drivers, DCTs are overcomplicated with little real-world benefit. A transmission should be invisible, silent, smooth, and reliable. DCTs constantly remind you they exist, usually at the worst possible moments. If you're not tracking laps on weekends, save yourself the headache. More hassle than it's worth, and it doesn't age well. Feature 8, continuously variable transmissions, CVTs. Feature number 8, continuously variable transmissions, or CVTs, were designed for smooth, gearless driving. Sounds clever, right? But in reality, they often make cars appear on the least reliable lists, especially Nissan models. Instead of traditional gears, CVTs use a belt and pulley system. When they slip, overheat, or fail, repairs are expensive and slow. Nissan's Jatco CVTs are infamous, turning solid models into repair-heavy nightmares. Older CVTs from Subaru, Honda, and Mitsubishi aren't much better. Jerky shifts, lag, and premature breakdowns are common. Some modern CVTs from Toyota and Honda have improved reliability, but the damage to consumer trust remains. Hybrid eCVTs fare better, but if you're buying a gas-only car with CVT, beware. The promise of smooth, effortless driving comes with a price: added complexity, expensive repairs, and unpredictable performance. If your goal is reliability over gimmicks, you might want to steer clear. Feature 7, air suspension systems. Feature number 7, air suspension systems. Swap traditional coil springs for rubber bladders and compressors. Sounds luxurious, right? The ride feels cloud-like, smooth, almost magical. But here's the reality. One tiny leak can collapse your car, and the compressor goes into panic mode, burning out while your wallet empties. Repairs trigger a domino effect. Bladders, sensors, valves, all failing in succession. Hissing, groaning, or random creaks become your daily soundtrack. Self-leveling or adaptive air systems aren't any better. Flashy, yes, but high maintenance and unpredictable. Sure, air suspension feels amazing, until it doesn't. And when it fails, it's not subtle, it collapses completely. Before chasing that floaty ride, ask yourself, do you want to glide now or pay big later? Luxury comes with a steep hidden cost in reliability. Feature 6. Driver Assist Systems. Feature number 6, Driver Assist Systems, starts innocent enough. A gentle nudge, a beep. Maybe the wheel jerks slightly. Sounds helpful, right? Not really. These systems are overly sensitive, often inaccurate, and downright frustrating. What should be a simple lane change turns into a wrestling match, and a tiny piece of road debris can send the system into full panic mode. Most drivers already know how to stay in their lane using instincts and experience. Meanwhile, the computer reacts to lines, blips, and guesses. Instead of boosting confidence, it adds stress, making you second-guess every move like an overbearing backseat driver. When sensors fail, replacing or recalibrating them is a nightmare, expensive and time-consuming. These systems aren't just distracting. They add complexity, increase long-term maintenance costs, and slowly chip away at your car's reliability. Until fully autonomous driving becomes a reality, driver assist systems are more hassle than help. They promise safety, but in reality, they often undermine it. All right, folks, now you've seen it. 15 car upgrades that sound cool on paper, but secretly drain your wallet, destroy reliability, and turn simple driving into a high-stress adventure. From glass roofs that cook your cabin like an oven, to driver assist systems that wrestle your steering wheel, the truth is clear. Not everything shiny and new is actually helping your car. If you want to actually save money, avoid headaches, and make your car last longer, stick to tried and true features, do the regular maintenance, and don't fall for flashy gimmicks that sound good in commercials. Now here's where you come in. Drop your questions in the comments. Have you been burned by any of these features? Got a story about a repair nightmare or a hidden gem that saved you thousands? Share it below because we want to hear it all. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to CarFix Free for more brutally honest car advice, mechanic truths, and tips the dealerships won't tell you. Next video, we're revealing hidden car features that actually improve your driving experience. Stuff you wish you knew years ago. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Stay smart, stay curious, and keep your car running like a champ.